Good evening, managers. My name is Seth Elliott, and today I'm going to be speaking on a primary message template. Now, a primary message template is a tool that managers can use to effectively write and communicate with other people in their organization. Now, before we go into the primary message template, it's important to define what a primary message is right off the bat. So a primary message represents the overarching information that the communicator wants to present. This should be a short but clear and concise point that the manager wants to get across. Now that we've went ahead and defined what a primary message is, let's go ahead and look at some of the things that we need to do before we can begin to use the primary message template. So before we can look at an actual primary message template, the first thing that we need to do is go ahead and structure our primary message. So there are two steps in order to do this. Step number one is to frame the primary message. Now, this means that we're going to go ahead and identify what our primary message is. After we've identified what our primary message is, we're going to simplify that into a statement of about 15 words that clearly and concisely illustrates the point that we're trying to get across. Once we have that, then we can move on to step two. Step two is going to be setting up the logic of the message. This is going to be where we draw out and plan out all of our supporting points and how they all fit together. Once we have all of the logic for our message all laid out, then we can move on and actually look at the primary message template. So as you can see, this is our primary message template. If you look at the very top, the primary message box at the very top represents our introduction paragraph. Then we have 3 key points. Each key point on here is going to help us to further elaborate on our message. And then we have a conclusion at the bottom, which is going to be our conclusion paragraph. So now let's look at and break down each individual section of this. So if we look up at the top at our introductory paragraph, this actually has the name primary message because the primary message is the key theme of our introductory paragraph. So our primary message is going to be our topic sentence, which is going to come first. This is going to lay out everything that we're going to communicate in our paper. After that, at the very end of the introductory paragraph, we're going to have a preview sentence for each of the key points. This is going to briefly introduce all the key points that we're going to be diving into in the body paragraphs. Once you've done that, your introduction is done, we can move on to the next part. So the next part is a body paragraph. This consists of 3 key points. Each key point is going to elaborate on a different side of our primary message and help us better communicate the message. If you notice here, each key point also has evidence to go with it. This means that we're going to use different resources, whether it be websites, authors, textbooks, in order to validate each of these points and better help add credibility to our presentation. Lastly, we have our conclusion. Our conclusion is where we're going to wrap up everything that we've just said and restate everything nicely to end off the presentation. We're going to touch on all of the points that we mentioned in our body paragraphs, but mainly we're going to just get our primary message through one last time. So managers, in conclusion, the primary message template is a tool that managers can use to effectively create a good paper and communicate a good message to other people that they want to communicate with. Framing the primary message is extremely important when communicating a clear and concise message that will not be misunderstood by others. I appreciate you listening to me today, and thank you very much.